Hello, everyone. This next training video, we're going to talk about TVA, which is Total View Action. So, couple things. I have bookmarked TVA because I use it quite often in onboarding, but you can also get there when you're logged in to your TVS account. I'm logged in as my admin right now. You can go down to TV Action and it will take you in to TVA. We have a lot of acronyms, if you haven't noticed, at our school. So let's wait for it. Let it pop up. All right, just took it a little bit longer. So here's TVA, lots of different things you can do for TVA. So I have a copy of my tracker that I'm going to copy some student ID numbers in my Excel tracker. And notice where it says student ID max up to 500. So I'm going to click in this box. If I do Control V, I can go up to 500 students I want to look at. So this is a way, if you had your own like tracker, you're keeping track of your kids, I can put all those numbers in here and then I can search. So given this was a last year's list, so I have 4 students that aren't found, it will tell you. And then these students are the ones that I have. So you can sort these, which is kind of nice, by grade level. You can sort it by last name, student ID, by first name. So when you go over to the hamburger here, you can, if I want to just pick the filters that I want to show up in my columns here. So if I want to take off withdrawal date and I want to take off ID, and I want to take off the school because they're all in Orva. I want to take off their status because they're all active. That's why they're showing up for me. So I can like make my list and filter it. So if I wanted like some demographics about the kids of attendance, I use Strong Start a lot because I'm the onboarding person. So if I click Strong Start and then I search for these students, this is how I track the students to see. This is where you can filter DSPs. So you could put your whole 150 kids in here and then sort DSPs. If you want to do your student connection calls using TVA, you can. So all of the students I have in this list are all returning. My reds are at risk though, that's the R, my yellow. So I'm going to start with my at risk ones. And this is where I've already done my homework in TVS and I'm just going through my list. This is another place where you can make a note, like I also before showed you in TVS. So if I called Caleb, talked to Caleb's, learning coach, talked to Caleb, we talked about school, made a connection with him. I reviewed, contact information that I am their advisor for the rest of the year, gave them my contact, maybe checked what's the best way to get a hold of you, checked their schedule, made sure they have their laptop and internet ready to go. Those are a lot of just questions I ask in the student connection call. What are their likes, interests, what's exciting? Why did they choose Orva? Why are they here? What's their goals for school? Just those are just different types of questions that I might ask on that student connection call. And then I do have a personal tracker and I recommend that. Start taking notes and having your own tracker that you're going to have with all your kids and maybe what, about your kids, who the parent you're going to be talking to, who's the learning coach, what's the best contact, that kind of stuff. So again, if I want to, so I talk to Caleb, I have to put in a template now, a template note. I talk to him so I can put in a note. And if I go, it looks a little bit different where it says, save new note. It's a little bit different than TVS, but it depends on people like TVS. Some people love TVA, depending on what you're doing. But it takes you back to that original one we looked at. So then I go down and start looking for the student connection call because I did make a connection with him. I talked to him on the phone, talked to Learning Coach on the phone. They're all ready to go. I gave him the date for the first day of school, maybe the expectations, what I expect him to do during the first day of the first week of school. And yeah, so I click that and the template for that comes up. So you want to keep the subject the same. You want it to say student connection call. This is where you're going to put any notes that you think would be helpful for you in the future or for other teachers that might be working with him. Because sometimes we even search student connection calls so we can see what, was that first connection or contact with. And then, of course, click save. So that's using TVA. There's lots of other things we can use. I know we already looked at, there's the FAST we can look at that might give us the enduring connection call, the fast running note, the fast referral classroom. So some of these we don't do anymore, and that's why there's some schools that still have fast, and we're not one of them. So I don't know the transition over yet, but they do still have the enduring connection call here, so you can see when was the last enduring connection call. So you could filter that to who is on your top priority each month of who you need to make that contact with. I believe we have to touch each one of our kids one every 30 days. And so some type of interaction, whether it's in a small group, whether you've talked to them on the phone, whether they came to an orientation, maybe you were, texting back and forth or emailing back and forth, something, and then you put in that note using the template enduring connection call. The first one is student connection call. Everyone after that each month is the enduring connection call. So we'll only have one student connection call, and then the rest of the year, each month, each student should have an enduring. It doesn't have to be a call, the enduring connection call, even though it says it should be. Those are nice because you make a connection, but that's not possible sometimes. If you can get a group and they're in a class and you talk to them one-on-one, maybe you did kind of a the Strive plan that we talked about with each student and pull them into a breakout room, then of course that would put in the notes for enduring connection call. And you can do a mass note for enduring connection call. But that running note you'll have to add individually into each student's running note, which we'll talk about the running note in a little bit. But anyway, that's a way you can use TVS. There's a lot of information. Again, you can play with it. There's pulse check when we do pulse check, re-registration stuff, engagement, instructional levels, attendance. So you can even sort by, okay, here's all my kids, but if you're a family person, what if you only want to do, my kids, but only the 8th graders? And I'm going to focus on those. So you can sort them in many different ways. But yeah, so that another one for Strong Start, I was going to show you because you're going to be helping me with Strong Start and onboarding. Oh, I'm going to clear that because let's try this again. So I copy paste in my student IDs and I click Strong Start. So the things we track on our onboarding spreadsheet, I double check them here. They don't show up within like 24 hours. So that's why we have the tracker, because I need to know, like, were they in the orientation? Have they done their OLS? So the walk to class call, that's a K-12 things they monitor. There's the student connection call. So you can even put all your kids in here, maybe after a week, and you can sort the student connection call to see who still needs one. Sometimes you've maybe made the call, but this is when you've heard me, some of you, that I'm like, hey, I know you talked to the student, but you didn't put in the note or use the template. So please go do that. It will show me if they have a student connection call, and that's if you use the template in the note. We don't do fast connection calls anymore. Will show up the date of orientation. So this is what I use to kind of double check our tracker. We'll say yes or no if they've done it's called Online Learning K-8 1920. That's what it's called this year. So this is kind of double checking. They have to have one live orientation. They have to get the ORN done. They have to have a student connection call. So this will kind of take the place. Again, it's not live, but I will go in and kind of double check our tracker to make sure everything's correct. Anyway, that is a little bit of TVA. So let me know if you have any other questions.